ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaskar, my dear friends. This is video number 4 on the teachings of Lord Kapila. This video starts with the text 3. Yad yad vidhate Bhagwan savachand atma mayaya tani ma shraddha dhanasya kirtanaya anukirtanaya. Therefore, please precisely describe all the activities and pastimes of the personality of Godhead who is full of self-desire and who assumes all these activities by his internal potency. Purport: the word Anukirtiya is very significant. Anukirtiya means to follow the description, not to create a concocted mental description, but to follow. Sonka Rishi requested Sutta Goswami to describe what he had actually heard from his spiritual master Sukadeva Goswami about the transcendental pastimes that the Lord manifested by his internal energy. Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no material body, but he can assume any kind of body by his supreme will that is made possible by his internal energy. We can understand the pastimes of the Lord by following one or some of the authorized devotional processes. Hearing, chanting, and remembering the holy name form pastimes, qualities, and entourage of the Lord. Offering service according to the time, place, and performer. Worshipping the deity, offering prayers, always considering oneself the eternal servant of Krishna, making friends with him and dedicating everything unto him. These are the 9 processes of devotional service. There are 9 basic processes of devotional service: hearing and chanting about the Supreme Lord, remembering Him, serving His lotus feet, worshipping Him, offering prayers to the Lord, acting as His servant, becoming His friend, and surrendering everything to Him. The beginning is Sarvanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. One must be very eager to hear and chant, as stated in Bhagavadgita, chapter 9, stanza number 14. Satam kirtaniyato mam yatantasa cha dridha vrtaha namasyantasa cha mam bhaktaya nitya yukta upashate. Always chanting my glories and endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, the great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. We have to speak or chant about the holy activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but first we have to hear about them. This Srimad Bhagavatam was recited by Sukadeva Goswami and heard by Parikshit Maharaja, and we in turn have to hear about Krishna and then chant about him. Sarvanam Kirtanam Vishnu. When we speak of Vishnu, we mean Krishna. Krishna is the origin of the Vishnu Tattva. That is, Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. When we speak of Vishnu, we understand that the origin of Vishnu is Krishna. As Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, stanza 2, Aham Adir Hi Devanam, I am the source of the demigods. The most important demigods devas are Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu. In the beginning of the creation there is Lord Vishnu, and from Lord Vishnu Brahma is born. From Lord Brahma Lord Shiva is born, and these three gods take charge of the three modes of material nature. Vishnu takes charge of Sattva Guna, the mode of goodness. Lord Brahma takes charge of Rajoguna, the mode of passion. And Lord Shiva takes charge of Tamoguna, the mode of ignorance. However, before the creation, there was no Brahma or Shiva. There was only Krishna. Krishna therefore says, Aham Adir Hi Devanam. He is the creator of all demigods and all other living entities. After the cosmic manifestation is created, the living entities are placed in it. Therefore, in the Vedas it is stated that in the beginning there was neither Brahma nor Shiva, but only Narayana. Eko Narayana Asit. Narayana is also another plenary expansion of Krishna. We have to learn from the scriptures that Krishna is the origin of all. Krishna to Bhagavan Swam. All the Vishnu tattvas and incarnations are but plenary expansion or expansions of the plenary expansion of Krishna. There are millions and millions of incarnations. They are as plentiful as waves in the ocean. There are Satyavesha avatars, Guna avatars and Swam avatars, and these are all described in Srimad Bhagavatam. All these avatars or incarnations are Vachandratma, free from care, and Savchandratma, free from care and anxiety. If we organize a business, we have many anxieties. The managing director or proprietor of the business particularly has many anxieties. Although he sits in his office without disturbance, he is not very happy because he is always thinking about how to do this or that, how to manage this affair or that. This is material nature, and therefore it is said that there is always anxiety in the material world. When Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlada Maharaj, asked his son, My dear boy, what is the best thing you have learned from your teacher? Prahlada Maharaja immediately replied, Tat sadhu manye surya varya dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asad grahi. Bhagavat 7.5.5. I have learned that materialists have accepted the Asat Guna. Asat means that which is not. We should not remain on this platform but should go to the platform of Sat. Om Tat Sat. This is the Vedic injunction. The material world is Asat Vastu. It cannot possibly remain. In the material world, everything will ultimately be vanquished. Whatever exists in the material world exists only for some time. It is temporary. The Mayavadi philosophers say, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. The supreme truth is real, whereas the world is false. But Vaishnavas do not use the word mithya, false, because God, the supreme Brahma, is truth and nothing false can emanate from the truth. If we prepare an earring from gold, the earring is also gold. We cannot say that the earring is false. Yato imani bhutani jayante. The supreme absolute truth is He from whom everything is emanating. If everything is emanating from the absolute truth, nothing can actually be false. The Vaishnava philosophers accept the world as temporary but not false as the Mayavadi philosophers do. The word Jagat has emanated from the Supreme, therefore it is not mithya but it is temporary. That is also explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, Stanza 19. Bhutva Bhutva Parliyate. The material world comes into existence, remains for some time, and is then annihilated. It is not false, for it can be utilized to realize the supreme truth. This is Vaishnava philosophy. The world is temporary, but we must use it for spiritual purposes. If something is used for the ultimate truth, the absolute truth, it becomes integral with the absolute truth, as stated by Srila Rupa Goswami. Anasaktasya visyan यथार्हम् उपायुञ्जतः निर्बन्धः कृष्ण सम्बन्धे युक्तां वैराग्यम् उच्यते प्रापञ्चिकतया बुद्धया हरिसम्बन्धिवस्तुनः मुमुक्षुभिः प्रत्योगा वैराग्यं फल्गु कथयते भक्ति रसमार्ता सिद्धौ. The word mumukshu refers to those who aspire for mukti, liberation. When one becomes disgusted with material engagement, one wants to destroy everything that has anything to do with the material world. However, the Vaishnava says, Prapanchikataya buddhaya hari sambandhi vastunah. Everything has some relationship with the Supreme Person, the Absolute Truth. For instance, a microphone is made of metal, but what is metal? It is another form of earth. In Bhagavadgita, chapter 7, stanza number 4, Sri Krishna says, Bhumir apo nalo vyahu ham mano buddhir evacha. How to understand the Lord's activities. Ahankara itiham me bhinna prakrti asaddha. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All together, these comprise my separated material energies. All of these are Krishna's energies, and if Krishna is the source of them, how can they be untrue? They are not. A Vaishnava will never say that metal has no connection with Krishna. It is a product of one of his energies, just as this material world is a product of the sun. We cannot say that the sunshine is false and that the sun is true. If the sun is true, the sunshine is also true. Similarly, we do not say that the material universe is false. It may be temporary, but it is not false. Therefore, the Goswamis and Krishna himself tells us that since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be utilized for his purpose. This creation emanates from Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord, who is without anxiety. Krishna very pleasantly associates with his consort Srimati Radharani and enjoys playing his flute. If God is anxious, what kind of God is he? Even Lord Brahma and other demigods are anxious. Lord Brahma is engaged in meditation. Lord Shiva dances to annihilate the universe. The goddess Kali is engaged in killing with her sword and so forth. The demigods have many activities, but Krishna is always peaceful. The Krishna who engages in killing demons is Vasudeva Krishna, not the original Krishna. The original Krishna does not go anywhere. He never takes a step away from Vrindavana. The other activities performed by Krishna are performed in the Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha or Pradyumna forms. Krishna expands as Sankarshana, Narayana, Vishnu, Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksayi Vishnu and Kasirodasayi Vishnu. God can expand himself in many forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anandim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusha Nava Yogna Cha Brahma Samhita. Chapter 5, stanza number 33. He is the Adi Purusha, the original soul of all. Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. Lord Brahma says that he is not Adi Purusha, but that Govinda Krishna is the Adi Purusha. This Krishna has many expansions. Advaitam Achyutam Anandim. He has no beginning, but he is the beginning of everything. He has expanded himself in many forms. The Vishnu Tattvam consists of Bhagavad Tattva, Swamsa, the personal expansions. We are also Krishna's form, but we are Vibhinamsa, separated expansions. We are the expansions of the energies according to Krishna in Bhagavatam Gita, chapter 7, stanza 5. Apreyam itas tau anyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayodam dharyate jagat. Beside the inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind which consists of the living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. Thus, there are the Jiva Prakriti, the Pra Prakriti expansions who belong to Krishna's superior energy. In any case, Krishna is always Swachandaratma, Swachandatma, without anxiety. Even if he is killing a demon, he experiences no anxiety. That is also confirmed in the Vedas. Na tasya karyam karnan cha vidyate, na tat samas cha vidhakivas cha drishyate, parshya saktir vividyave Suvete Swambhivika Jnana Bala Kriyacha. The Supreme Lord has nothing to do, for everything is done automatically by his various potencies. No one is seen to be equal to or greater than him. Savetasvara Upanishad chapter 6, stanza number 8. Sri Krishna has nothing to do personally, it is his energy that acts. When an important man wants to get something done, he simply tells his secretary, who does everything. The important man is quite confident that because he has told his secretary his desires will be carried out. The secretary is a person energy Shakti. If an ordinary man within this world has many energies in the form of secretaries, then we can hardly imagine the energies possessed by Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is Jagat Ishvara, the controller of the entire universe, and thus he is managing the entire universe. Foolish people say that there is no brain behind the universe, but this is due to ignorance. By taking information from the Shastras, the scriptures, we can understand who that brain is according to Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, stanza number 10. This material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. We see his energies working in this material world all the time. There is thunder and rain, and from rain comes the food we enjoy. This process is outlined in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, stanza number 14. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyate anna sambhava yajnat bhavanti parjanyo yajna karma Samuddhabhava. All living beings subsist on food grains which are produced from rains. Rains are produced by performance of yajna, sacrifice, and yajna is born of prescribed duties. The origin of everything is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Though yajna sacrifice, we have to satisfy the Supreme Person, and yajnas can be executed when human society is regulated according to the varnasrama dharma, the system of four social orders, varnas, and four spiritual orders, asramas. There are four varnas: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra, and four asramas: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanprastha, and Sannyasa. These varnas and asramas have their respective duties, and useless human society is divided according to these eight scientific divisions, and everyone acts as according to his position. There can be no peace in the world. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is worshipped by proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Asrama. There is no other way to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is from Vishnu Purana. The ultimate goal of all activity is the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Foolish people do not know that their ultimate interest is the satisfaction of Vishnu. Therefore, when there are dharmasya glanihi, discrepancies in dharma, Krishna or his incarnation personally comes. It is therefore said, Yad Yad Vidyate Bhagwan, although he comes, he has no anxiety, he comes by his internal potency and he does not take help from anyone. He possesses a variety of energies, all of which work correctly and perfectly. Impersonal Impersonalists cannot understand how everything is being carried out perfectly because they cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, this divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Being covered by the three modes of material nature, one cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, the Supreme Lord reveals Himself to His devotees. It is our business to understand Krishna in truth. Then our lives will be successful. It is not that we can succeed by understanding Krishna superficially. It is therefore stated here. The word anukartiya, as we have initially pointed out, means that we should not manufacture anything. The word anu means to follow. Therefore, the Bhagavad Tattva or Bhagwan can be understood only by the Parampara system, the system of disciple succession. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplined succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Formerly, the kings, Rajas were great saintly persons. They were not ordinary people engaged in drinking and dancing. They were all rishis, sages up to the time of Maharaja Parikshit. They were trained in such a way that they were not ordinary men but were called Naradeva. Naradeva refers to Bhagwan in the form of a human being. The king was worshipped because he was a Raj Rishi, both a king and a sage. Sri Krishna says that if the king knows the purpose of life, he can rule well. If he does not, he thinks that eating, sleeping, sex, and defense are all in all. In this case, his subjects live like animals. Today, no one knows the object of human life. Therefore, although the foolish people of this age are trying to be happy, their hopes will never be fulfilled. Na te viduhu sarvatha jatim hi Vishnum. People are trying to be happy in this material world by accepting material objects, but their plans will never be fulfilled. Therefore, in world history, we see that there have been many leaders who have died working hard. They could not adjust things properly despite all their hard efforts. There were Napoleon, Hitler, Gandhi, Nehru, and many others, but they could not ultimately prevail. This is Durasya. The ultimate goal of life is to understand Vishnu, yet people are going on blindly trying to satisfy their senses. If one blind man tries to lead another, what is the result? If both the leaders and followers are blind, they will all fall in a ditch, for they are all bound by their nature. Hearing and chanting are the beginning of bhakti, devotional service. Therefore, it is said the word anukartiya means to follow the parampara system. First of all, we must receive the information from authorities, then we can speak the truth. One first has to learn how to describe the absolute truth. Bhagwan, his actions, his mercy, and his compassion upon all living beings. The Supreme Lord is more anxious to give up education and enlightenment than we are to receive them. He gives us his literature, his devotees, and the parampara system, but it is up to us to take advantage of this. The Krishna consciousness movement is intended to give society the proper understanding of the absolute truth. We are not presenting a manufactured bogus philosophy. Why should we unnecessarily waste our time concocting some philosophy? There is so much to be learned that has already been given by the Supreme Authority. All we have to do is to take this Vedic literature, try to learn it and distribute it. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. It is the duty of everyone, especially one born in the land of Bharatvarsha, India, to make his life successful by taking advantage of this Vedic literature. Unfortunately, we are simply trying to learn technology, and that is our misfortune. Real education means solving all life's problems. Transcendental education means learning how to gain relief from the entanglement of material life. This is made possible by learning about the Lord's transcendental activities. So I end this video here. Next video number number 5 will start with chapter number 4, approaching a bona fide guru, and text 4. So thank you for watching this video. Namaskar, my dear friends.